A change initiative or process is underway, and you're wondering how best to engage your employees through it. Well, I've got a few pointers for you that I've used to enable leaders all over the world to do just that. Let's get it. Change in business can be so challenging, so difficult, because it so often requires much more than your energy, your willingness, and your effort to make it happen. It requires the engagement and enrollment of your peers, of your team, and of the workforce in order to be successful. In this video, I've not only got a huge secret that I've learned in building and creating a multi-million-dollar consulting company, but also 4 tips to help you successfully engage your employees through your next change initiative. Okay, the big secret about change. It's your people that make it happen. It's your people that make it stick. Not the processes, not the Excel spreadsheets, not the algorithms, not the machine learning. It's people. And it's so important that you embrace that, to empower and inspire those individuals when moving through the change, understanding that it all rests with them, their motivation and their willingness. You know, I have a very good friend who works for one of the huge consulting companies. He's been doing it for many, many years. And he shared with me through all of his engagements as a merchant of change, working with companies and organizations all over the world, that he's identified that 10% about successful change adoption is the know-how. Having the processes, having the structure, having the training, having all that in place. The other 90% is squarely focused on an individual's, on the workforce's willingness and motivation to making that change happen. It's so important that you embrace this, recognizing how can you empower and engage your employees to move through a change process. And given that, I've got 4 tips for you right now to help you do just that. The first tip is, as best as you can, enroll your employees in your decision-making process. Now, I know there are times when you can't have too many chefs in the kitchen and you have to make quick decisions, and so you can't really engage everyone. But as best as you can, when you have that time and that leeway, engage those in the organization in the decision-making process. It's going to convey to your employees that you want them to be a part of the journey. And it's also going to help to quell that feeling that so often we feel when that type of change hits that we didn't ask for, and we feel like it's happening to us. That type of a feeling can often strip away the power from your employees, at least seemingly. So as best as you can, enroll the organization in that decision-making process. And you know what? That might look like, hey, we're going through this change initiative. Here are some of the potential avenues that we're exploring, A, B, and C. If you all could just give me some feedback, why do you think this one might be better than the other? Let them go through pros and cons with you. I've led so many change initiatives in corporate America before sunsetting that career and starting my own company. But during that time, I can remember the vibrance, the energy in the room when I would talk about, here are multiple options that we as a leadership team are thinking about pursuing. Let's go through each one of these. What are your thoughts? And then kind of go through and weigh the pros and cons. And it's helpful not only for them, but for me as well, because they have perspective on the front line. They're the ones doing the work. They're the ones that are going to be responsible for making the change happen. Having that perspective early on is huge. And I've actually made changes to an original direction based on feedback, based on input that I got from my organization and from the workforce. This can be invaluable, not only for yourself as a leader, but also for those employees on your team and in your workforce. Tip number 2, request feedback and then use it. As you're going through the change process, make sure there's an avenue established for your team or your workforce to share back to you what's working, what's not working. What are ideas or perspective to help the change be more optimal, to be better as they're working through the execution? Create that avenue, actually gather the feedback, and then use it. And what I mean by that is, you want to make sure that you're communicating out to your team and your organization that you've heard the feedback, maybe listing out everything that you've heard. Maybe you want to put that in buckets. Here are some themes that we're getting from you. And then what actions are you taking based on that feedback? And perhaps, we heard a lot of this, we've heard a lot of this theme, and we're actually incorporating this feedback already. And here's how we're doing that. And here's a theme that we hadn't thought of. And here's how we're changing our direction based on this feedback. So be very open and honest in the fact that you're gathering the feedback feedback, you're digesting the feedback, and then you're making decisions on whether to use that feedback or not moving forward. Be very transparent. There's something that's very, very dangerous in opening the door for feedback, saying we want to hear from you, and then doing nothing with it. Because then you're going to lose that really important ingredient of trust. You know, I've been at multiple levels in organizations, and I can remember when I was a recent hire, and there would be a call for feedback. Let us know how the initiative's going, what's working, what's not. We share that feedback, and it's like it's going into a vortex. You never hear about it. You're just every day wondering, did they hear me? Are they ever gonna do something? So it's important that when you get that feedback, take the time, digest it, somehow communicate the buckets, the themes that you're hearing, and here's how it's impacting how we're moving forward. That will nurture the trust and heighten engagement as you work through the process. By the way, if you're getting value from this, I drop videos like this all the time. So make sure you click subscribe. Click it. It's probably below my face right now. Click it. Click the button. You can do it. I believe in you. You've used that mouse before. I want to make sure you have the videos that hit your inbox first when I drop a new video. All right, let's dive back in. Tip number 3, identify and celebrate success stories. So when you're moving through a change journey, whether that be a culture change, a strategy change, a new digital transformation, whenever you see something that's working as a part of the change, employees are using the new system. Employees are actually, embodying the behaviors that you want in your future culture. Highlight that. Celebrate it. It's going to go a long way in positively reinforcing what you want to see moving forward, as well as make those individuals that are actually embodying the behavior or using the tools, make them know they're on the right track. Now, the other thing that I want to say about a celebration is also celebrating and acknowledging the learning that's achieved from failure or from setbacks. Especially when you get into really big, complex change initiatives in business, there's always going to be setback. There's always going to be mistakes. There's always going to be a need to pivot, to change when you're actually in that transformation journey. Recognize those moments. What have you learned? Communicate that out to the organization to inform you all moving forward, perhaps to sidestep that mistake in the future for your team, for your organization, and maybe even for neighboring functions. So celebrate that learning. It reminds me of a quote that I love from Nelson Mandela. He said that I never fail, I either win or learn. So celebrate both of that. The success stories, the wins, as well as the learning that's made possible through setbacks or failure. The final tip, number 4, share appreciation and gratitude. We at Change Enthusiasm Global have partnered with a leading research institute called CGK to study the status of change and emotion in the workplace. And we've done this all over the world. And a part of that study, we wanted to understand burnout, resistance, what drives that, as well as effective strategies to mitigate it. And one of the number one strategies to re-engage employees who might be feeling a bit resistant to change is showing appreciation and gratitude for their efforts and striving to make that change a reality. This can go so far. And I can't tell you how good it feels when you're working in a change challenge. You're tired, you're fatigued. It feels like things just get hitting you, but you get up and you strive to get it done each and every day. When a leader comes in and says, I see you and I appreciate you, what you're doing and who you are, the light that you bring into this office, into this work each and every day, I appreciate it. It goes such a long way. And that has been showered upon me countless amount of times. And there's always that bit of just excitement. Honestly, gratitude is very contagious. As soon as I get it, I want to immediately go out and thank somebody else, right? Don't just thank me, thank my partners, thank the team as well. So this is a very contagious type of an energy, and it's a really high vibrating one. So as best as you can, be very intentional about sharing your gratitude, sharing your appreciation. Not just what your teammates, your peers, your direct reports, the workforce is doing, but also who they are. The personality, the energy, the light that they bring into their work. Celebrate that and shower that with appreciation, moving through the change journey. Speaking of engaging and leading others through change, I've got something else for you. And don't worry, you don't have to pay for it. It's for free. And it's actually a snippet of one of my keynote recordings that I delivered to an organization going through tremendous change and disruption in their market as well as internal to the organization. Specifically, I want to share with you the portion of the keynote where I was talking about how to lead and engage others when going through change, when they themselves might be feeling resistant or not really wanting to lead into the change. And I actually sprinkle in some of our latest data from that research that I mentioned previously. And I want to give this keynote recording to you for free. All you got to do is click the link below. I want to make sure you have the research, the data, and the insights to ensure your growth through even your most challenging changes. I'm Cassandra Worthy, and until we meet again, keep growing and keep rocking.